Well, it is the quirky little character that's gone from underground cult favourite to a global craze.
They're the cheeky, wide-eyed, a little bit creepy Labubus. From TikTok unboxings to celebrity shout-outs. And with sales surging almost 400% this year, the toy is fast on its way to building a Disney-style empire.
As a collector, it's a no-brainer for me as to why people like to collect things. Whether it's toys, cars, cards, plushies, china, literally anything. I understand the reasons behind it. I understand that there's a value, whether it's nostalgia, whether it's just a sense of comfort, or it's a community thing. However, to most people who don't collect, I feel like it's a little bit more difficult to understand. Like, why would you spend money just to hoard things? Let's just be real for a second. I am just hoarding a bunch of dolls inside a shelf and calling it pretty and nice and nostalgic and healing my inner child, all of which are still true, but I do have more reasons as to why I collect. I actually already talked about why people collect, specifically dolls, in this video right here. I do believe that this could apply to other type of collectibles as well. I would urge you to check it out. However, between the collector and the topic at hand, there is this finding of what can we sell that people will collect in the fandom, whether it's a TV show, a movie, comic book, whatever it is. And I can tell you right now, there is always a way to find something to collect. In fact, nowadays, you see collectibles that are not part of any mainstream show or movie or franchise. They're just collectibles. Or they're a design that was made by an illustrator, someone like me. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, just Labubus. That's right, a sensational little plushy, mischievous looking cutie animal thing that everyone's collecting all of a sudden. In my experience, it all started this year, but it's actually been going on for quite a few years now. Today, we're going to be discussing how do collectibles become viral, become something that everybody wants. And I think Labubus are a perfect example because they don't come out of any like mainstream show or cartoon or anything like that. Because girls collecting Barbie dolls or even boys, that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of Barbie movies. It's a whole franchise. Everyone knows about it. Hello Kitty is a whole show. We don't really watch it anymore, but there's like games and there's a lot of other media forms of it. And then you also get to buy the actual figures and things like that. I just feel like Labubu is a perfect spot to examine like why and how this random collectible came to be. And has there been other ones out there? Will there be other ones? Is this going to be a thing that lasts, or is it just like temporary trend? Labubu was actually created by a Hong Kong illustrator. His name is Kessing Lung, and it's part of his Monster Story series. In fact, Lung drew on Nordic folklore and mythology to make elf-like creatures with round body, sharp teeth, and a mischievous grin. We're not looking at a corporate thing here, my friends. We're looking at an artist, an art project that became what it is today, which is actually a little bit inspiring, if anything, because that just lets me understand that anything is possible. And this is in 2015, 10 years ago. Doesn't feel like it was that long ago, but it was. However, in 2015, the likeliness of, getting somewhere felt a little bit thin, just as it might nowadays. Like, oh, everybody's already done it all. Well, no, they haven't. And this is proof right here. Lung's figures were initially produced by How to Work. So that's when this company brings in art and turns it to an actual toy. However, it wasn't until 2019 where Mart collaborated with Lung's figurines, and that's when things went mainstream. Mart is a Beijing-based, market-leading character-based entertainment company and global champion of designer toy culture. That's what their website said. So I guess they're all over the world by now. Needless to say, Mart is a big company, and Labubus has definitely expanded their reach. How did this Labubu become viral? Because we all know there's a lot of other toys out there, even with Mart. Now, Mart did this technique that a lot of collector or even non-collector companies do, and in my opinion, it's a form of gambling, and it's called blind boxes. Another way to get you is definitely releasing limited editions products. Everything I'm going to be talking about with Labubus, you can literally notice in any other collectible. There's always going to be blind boxes. There's always going to be limited edition products that's going to urge you to just get it before it's too late. I've fallen victim so many times to this, and I have zero regret. Getting Labubu blind boxes felt like a gift. It's kind of like a fun little surprise game that you get to see, like, I'm going to get this character. And it's also a really good way for you to kind of grab a bunch of boxes hoping to get all of the characters combined. I've opened a few blind boxes before, not of Labubus, of these Pusheen plushies. They are so cute. I was hoping to get a coffee cup, but I never had any luck with that, unfortunately. I've also unboxed Winx Club cards. Love her. Don't need her. Yet again, a disappointment. Disappointment that I've been feeling with these boxes is insane. However, whenever you get that really good card, it's Musa! This is what happens. You get lucky one time. That is the addicting factor, because you're like, you know what? I do stand a chance after all. I didn't, but it's this feeling of FOMO. Damn, I need more. If you don't get all of those characters, if you're only getting one, then what's the point? Why does it even matter? Which leads to the limited edition and rarity factor. I think rarity, scarcity of specific items is one of the main reasons why collectible culture can be a little bit toxic at times, because we're all trying to get this extremely rare thing that may or may not exist in the numbers that everybody is trying to get. So Pop Mart releases small runs and collaborations with brands such as Coca-Cola and One Piece. The artificial scarcity leads to quick sellouts. Some releases have crashed Pop Mart's website. This is really one way to make a lot of money, and I know us collectors will never admit this because we just want to feel special, but limited edition products, as much as I'm one of the people who has bought some like that before, they are a cash grab for the company. It is really a very easy and quick way to make money off of like loyal fans. And so Labubu has done the right move there. Gather a bunch of fans, sell some rare ones. You're gonna bring in new fans who want to cash in on the price. And speaking of cashing in, most of those limited edition products will eventually end up costing a lot more on the resale value, because guess what? They're not produced anymore. The demand will be higher. So Labubu toys retail for around $13 to $16 in Asia, have been resold for $700.
This is editing, Dina, and I just want to double check here. I don't know if I'm reading this correctly. Why does it say $37? That one is actually sold out. Guys, please tell me this cannot be $37. I totally understand why people want to get those dupes, because this is insane.
Yikes. As a collector of Winx Club dolls, this is a very, very real thing where dolls that you've purchased 20 years ago that costed you 20 bucks are now costing you $1,000. But at least I can call those vintage,
I guess.
That's a little bit crazy. One really good machine to make sure there's a hype and that it keeps on going is definitely fan communities. And I mean really fun and entertaining, especially when you have friends, when you're all on the same mission to, you know, one thing. However, they are like a really good way to make sure there is competition, there is a level of toxicity, a level of just ensuring that the business keeps going for whatever company we're talking about. Setting Labubu aside, I really do firmly believe, and I mean, I'm a huge Winx Club fan, so I will never like talk down, but there is definitely a factor where us, the collectors, are probably a big contributor as to why this whole franchise is back. Call it whatever you want, but I guarantee you, if there wasn't this whole collector culture in the Winx Club world, I don't think this new reboot would have happened. And if it did happen, I don't think the budget would have been as much as it is now. Yes, they are going to garner new fans for sure. However, most of the people buying these dolls are in fact going to be collectors. I'm telling you right now, this is the truth of the matter, in my opinion. It's the main reason why Winx Club is still relevant, among other things out there. One Piece, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon. It's us collectors, the very nostalgic fans. We keep things going, and it's true. And it's because of a community. The cool thing about a community also is that we're just kind of doing the work for them. Like, nobody has to come up here and tell us what to do. We're just kind of like fangirling over whatever it is, and we're all obsessed. We're all on the same page, and we're sending links back and forth, and we're all comparing and all that stuff. Blind boxes, scarcity, communities, I feel like that can create a lot of hype and keep it going. But there's another element to why people collect these things or even like get started with them in the first place. I can tell you right now, imagine like Rainbow High, where there's not like a real hype on the show. I'm sure there's like a few episodes or sort online, but it was never like the big thing. But people still bought them. And I think this goes to the fact that, you know, some of us really appreciate dolls. We appreciate beautiful dolls, and most of the dolls out there have, you know, something that attracts collectors or even like normal people who don't collect. They just want to like buy that one specific doll. While there are some, in my opinion, pretty ugly dolls out there, there's always a catch. Like, there's always something that attracts people to it. So beauty could be one, but it's not always about beauty. In some cases, the uniqueness of it is the reason why people buy it and continue to collect it. And I think Labubus are practically kind of in that realm. While you might think they are cute, I think there's an element that is more of a cute, ugly aesthetic rather that's making them even pop off more. I mean, they are a fuzzy elf-like body with 9 sharp teeth. It's really an oxymoron at this point. They're cute but evil at the same time. They have a grin, but they're also like fluffy. And I really do think that this is kind of catch. This is the thing that people like. It's people appreciate something that's unconventional. At least lately. I don't know which TikToker said this, but they were talking about singers and how the singers that are popping off right now, they are doing something strange, different. And I mean, you can debate how strange or weird these things are. Cat's Eyes Gnarly is a really good example. I mean, the song itself, in my opinion, don't attack me icons, it's really not that good. It's actually not good at all. And I think if you are a true fan, you can agree it's safe. You can say that it's not really a good song, but it's so weird that you keep watching and you keep listening. Some are debating that Addison Rae is doing something weird and people are watching. I think Addison is doing something like aesthetically pleasing by people are watching, but you know, to each their own. I guess you might find that weird. Point being, we are all attracted to something that's a little bit off. We're bored of the conventional, the typical. I was always obsessed with Pusheen the cat. Like that's the stuff that I like, but she's just cute. Like she's irresistibly cute. Labubus are irresistibly cute and ugly at the same time. And we just find that extra cute nowadays. The aesthetic is one thing, but also the characters is another. And this is why people are going to keep on buying these things. There are a bunch of characters, apparently. I had no idea, but there's a bunch of characters and I'm gonna just name a few. Mokoko, Zimomo, Taikoko. The toy's backstory encourages fans to create micro-narratives and art, building emotional attachment. There you have it. Creating a story, a background to these characters definitely will attract people to look into it and, you know, make the fandom even broader and deeper at the same time. Everything I've mentioned so far is a really good reason as to why any collectible becomes popular and intentionally go viral, but I think this one takes the cake. And I'll explain to you why this reason alone is the reason why Labubus have become as popular as they are today. That's right, a celebrity was caught wearing a Labubu on her purse. Lisa from Blackpink, if you don't know, big K-pop band. Everybody listens to them. Everybody wants to be them, except she's not really holding a Labubu on her purse. I feel like I'm the only one who noticed this at this point because whenever I'm researching this topic, it's always Lisa's picture with her Louis Vuitton purse in Coachella in 2024, which is around the time that Labubus became a thing. She's holding crybabies, for God's sake. And whatever the flower is, I don't really know what brand this is. There's no flower-shaped Labubu, though, I'll tell you right now. So just to be clear with you right here before we get swayed, Lisa accidentally made Labubus popular, like without even owning one. And now she's kind of like, not the face of it, but like she's collaborated with them a bunch of times. Really odd. Don't know what happened there. I wasn't following the news back then, but I can't believe no one caught this. I mean, there's a bunch of news articles right now still live that are claiming that she's holding Labubus, but she's not. Those are not Labubus. Later after that, we've noticed other artists holding Labubus, such as Rihanna, Dua Lipa, among, honestly, influencers. A lot of influencers. And as we all know, celebrities, they make things that don't look super hot. They make them look hot. Now, all of a sudden, it's actually a really cool thing to carry a purse with Labubus attached to it. Not even just Labubus, honestly, anything. And as someone who owns a bunch of keychains and charms that are like more cutesy and fluffy, that is definitely reassuring. I mean, you should be able to put whatever you want on your purse. Jokes aside, this is really when Labubu started to explode. Simple as that. You get a big star organically holding your product. It's not sponsored or anything. Suddenly everyone wants it. By mid-2025, Pop Mart's market capitalization neared $40 billion. Surpassing legacy toy giants. Now we have a bunch of Labubu collaborations, a bunch of references. I saw one in person a few months ago and I was like, oh, okay, it reached Canada at last. Because, you know, we get everything months later. It's also interesting to note that this is really a way from Asian markets to kind of explode in North America, because I mean, everyone that I'm watching owns a Labubu is most likely from North America. I'm sure they're popular all around the world, but it's just interesting how the Asian market now kind of made it out to mainstream North America. Whether you like Labubus or you don't like Labubus, I think we can all agree this whole story is a success story and it's something that you can learn from. Maybe if you're an illustrator and you make weird art, just, you know, keep on doing those. You never know what happens. Maybe another Blackpink member could wear one of your keychains and then all of a sudden you're everywhere. Take that chance. Society really is very like trend focused and we like things that are everyone else is doing. And I mean, I guarantee you if celebrities didn't wear a Labubu keychain, not everybody would have it. Things wouldn't have been as big as it is right now in the scale of things. What's the future of Labubus? I don't know. Are they going to be a vintage one day? Are they going to be sold for millions of dollars in the future? Are they going to be in a museum 40 years from now? Who knows? There's also this possibility of market crash if something is just a trend and it dies down. I wouldn't wish this on anybody because I know there's a lot of collectors, Labubu collectors, who have paid a lot of money for their collections and you wouldn't want to see that ever going downhill. Another thing that is specific to Labubus that I feel like is just I have to mention at least, and it's the demonic reference. I'm sure you've already seen a lot of discussions about the imagery that we're seeing, especially for kids, because of course kids are also able to hold one of those Labubus and own one. Apparently, Russia proposed a ban over the terrifying appearance of Labubus, and same goes with Iraq's Kurdistan region. I am from Iraq, so kind of caught my eye a little bit, like as to what's really going on there. So Erbil, which is the capital, has confiscated over 4,000 Labubu dolls and officially banned their site. So if you're in this city, you're not able to buy a Labubu, which might sound like a minor thing, but I feel like there is something to look at. I'm not going to be the one who's looking into it, but I would urge you to kind of like research as to why this might influence children, which is what they're claiming here. But if you do want me to discuss it, let me know in the comments and we can kind of go into like the dark side of Labubus and as to why they have that reputation. But for now, I just want to end things off and in a point of a collector world, how do things get really popular? Obviously, there's a big group of people who do believe there's like a more sinister perspective. Other than that, I'm curious to hear, do you guys collect Labubus? Let me know in the comments. If not Labubus, what do you collect and why? What caused you to collect? And if your favorite artist starts wearing something, are you going to be buying that same exact thing just because you want to feel closer to this artist? I hope you enjoyed my video. If you did, give me a thumbs up, hit subscribe so you can see more content like this, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye.